Once considered a failure, Frank Mars struggled to start a candy business, facing bankruptcy not once, not twice, but 3 times. Yet each time he failed, he learned something new, taking him one step closer to success. Born with polio, Frank was left disabled, but this didn't stop him from pursuing his passion for candy making. He sold candy in bulk while still in high school and eventually got married and had a son named Forrest. Frank's business was booming until competition from companies like Hershey came along, causing him to go bankrupt and his wife Ethel to leave him, taking their son with her to Canada. Frank didn't give up, moving to Seattle to start another shop, but it too went bust. He then moved to Tacoma, trying his hand at making buttercream candies, but he just couldn't compete. Finally, he moved back to his hometown in Minnesota where he tried again, this time with his new Maro bar and buttercream candies. Frank would make the candy at 3 a.m., and Ethel would sell it freshly made from their one-bedroom apartment. Years later, after bailing his son out of jail, Forrest joined his father and suggested a new idea, to put melted chocolate drink in a candy bar. Frank experimented and came up with a malt-flavored nugget bar with chocolate and caramel, which he called the Milky Way. The candy was an instant hit, sales soared, and the company collected over $11 million in today's dollars. With the success of the Milky Way, Frank and Forrest set up a factory in Chicago and launched 2 more popular candies, Snickers and Three Musketeers. Sales reached an impressive $24 million. Forrest wanted to expand the company overseas, but Frank was hesitant. When Forrest threatened to leave, Frank gave him $50,000 and the foreign rights to the Milky Way. Forrest left for Switzerland, where he worked for Nestle and Toblerone and eventually came up with his own candy, the sweeter version of the Milky Way, called the Mars Bar. During the Second World War, there was a shortage of cocoa, so Frank teamed up with Bruce Murray, the son of Hershey Company president, to supply the chocolate he needed. The result? The world's most popular candies and the first candy to go into space. Frank passed away at the young age of 50, leaving Ethel as the president, but she wasn't interested and left the company to her half-brother Kruppenbaker. When Ethel passed away 2 years later, she left a third of the company to her half-sister Patricia and a third to Forrest. Despite Forrest's efforts to lead the company, he was forced out. But Forrest didn't give up. He convinced Patricia and other shareholders to merge the 2 companies, and after more than 30 years, he became the president and CEO of the company. He got rid of the executive dining room and corporate helicopter, and increased salaries by 30%. Under his leadership, the company's sales grew to more than $7 billion, and today, the Mars Company is worth a staggering $90 billion. This is the story of a man who refused to give up on his dream and a son who was equally ambitious. It's a tale of tireless perseverance, risk-taking, and hard work. As Frank once said, if you make a really good product that people want and are willing to pay, money will come. And it certainly did, making the Mars family one of the most successful in the candy industry.